Coming up next on Get Caught in a Net.
Get caught in a net with a net. For your mind, body, and soul gets caught in a net with a net. It's your intellectual radio show, here to inspire you and encourage you to be your very best. Get caught in a net.
You are now tuned in to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette, where your host, Annette Harris, analyze intriguing life questions and concerns, such as, do Christians suffer from mental illness? Have you wondered why they act abnormal? Or you may ask, what is really going on in their minds? Do you need Annette? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
Hey guys, welcome to another wonderful segment of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. I'm your girl, your host, Annette Harris. I'm also your certified mental health ambassador and author of that award-winning bestseller, Surviving a Silenced Heartbeat. Listen, guys, if you are listening to us on tonight, don't adjust your screens. Yes, we are here in the evening for another segment. We had an earlier segment at 12 noon. But this thing is so great. We had to come back this evening so that we can feature more authors. I have had the pleasure of meeting a few more on this evening. So I want to introduce them to you. We're going to bring them on. But before I do that, I want to inform you that you can watch us on my Facebook page, Annette Get Caught in the Net. Also on Instagram, we are live at Get Caught in the Net, and we are live on my YouTube channel, Get Caught in the Net Incorporated. And we are going to have this particular segment uploaded to Intellectual Radio's YouTube channel as well. Intellectual Radio is where Mind, Body, and Soul, the radio show, is housed. So we just want to make sure that you know that there are a few different ways that you can listen to us and you won't be disappointed. Distinguished Authors Guild is a wonderful organization, and I've been been affiliated with actually for the past few years. Gina Gatson, she works her magic over there, and you know it is beautiful to see how she encourages authors. She's an author herself many times over. But she encourages authors, and she has this guild that highlights authors. And so yearly she has an award ceremony. And so I am excited again to be a part of this, where I'm able to bring on the various authors and interview them. So you guys are saying you're talking too much. Can you bring them on? I will. I have actually about 6 on tonight. I'm expecting another one, but we're going to bring them in one by one. And I see you guys coming in. I appreciate you all so much listening to us. Make sure you tag individuals. Hit the love, the like, the care button. Don't you hit that angry button. We're not angry here tonight, okay? Don't you hit that. But hit those emoticons to encourage others to come in, if you would not mind doing that for me. And yes, you can tag people directly into the live feed, whether they watch it live or they watch it later. So we're going to bring on, and I think she might have been my first one on tonight, Natasha, author Natasha. We're going to bring her in. Isn't she beautiful? Wave at her, guys. Wave at her. All right. And my wonderful friend, author BG, is on tonight. Y'all can wave at him. Okay. We're bringing them in one by one. Author Rashana Gould. Did I pronounce that last name right?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey. All right, now I did it. Okay, author Rashana is here with us. And then we have author Patricia Wallace. Oh, I can't wait to see what these books are about on tonight. Many of you can see behind them or near them, they have either posters or backdrops with their books on there. And this is how you advertise yourself. And then my good friend, author Farron, is here. Hey, girl.
How are you?
Good. All right. And then I have Vincent. I'm getting a little feedback here. I don't know where that's coming from. All right, Jay, how's it going?
Going pretty good. How you doing tonight?
All right, all right. We're gonna rebuke that feedback. We don't need all that tonight. Okay. Let's jump in here and get started. I tell you what we do. Maybe we can have you guys mute until you actually talk. I'm thinking that might be where I getting the feedback from. Okay. All right, let's do that. All right. I think I saw Natalie hopping in. Thanks for coming in. We had her on earlier, author Natalie Romance Murphy. That is what the R stands for, she says. All right. Eliza, thanks for coming in. You said congratulations to the authors. And then we have author Frederica Wynn. She was on earlier this afternoon. And, I really appreciate the fact that I am able to connect with so many of you, through Gina. I will, make sure that we mention her name because she is the connect here. So I'm going to go around, and what I like to do is to have you talk to my listeners, those that are viewing and watching. Who are you? Tell us who you are. You can mention your book if you like. Give a little bit of background about yourself. Now, no, I don't need you to do a whole book. Just a little background about, intrigue us a little bit, okay? And we're going to start with author Natasha. I think she kind of knew I was going to start with her. I don't know why. Yeah,
I,
you thought right. Uh, uh,
well, my name is Natasha Cook, author Natasha Cook. I'm born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. I have my bachelor's degree in computer science. I have an 11-year-old daughter. I work for the state of Maryland, and I just like to have fun. I'm real down to earth. I love to chill.
okay, okay. You're in Maryland. My people are in Maryland.
Yeah,
So, okay, had to make sure we do some connects there. All right. All right, wonderful. Thank you for that. Come on, BG. Tell the people who you. I know who you are. Tell them who you are and maybe a little bit of background about you.
The short version, I'm an
Yeah.
author. I'm an award-winning author, but no, I am a former business owner turned career author. Long story short, I had an accident that kind of retired me, and beyond that, I started pursuing the craft of writing, and I think I published my first novel in 2020. It was voted. I was voted best new author by an independent review board, and I revised that first novel in 2022. I published revised edition, Family Ties Thicker Than Blood, and that one netted the Distinguished Authors Guild Best Fiction Award from last year.
Yeah.
And then the follow up, Family Ties 2 Blood Covenant. This is the picture, the book. This one has been nominated this year for the same award. So hopefully we'll make it 2 in a row.
Okay. All right. You trying to run up there behind Natalie? I know Natalie's still watching. Natalie,
I'm gonna surpass her.
I think Natalie won about 10 awards by now. I think.
Oh well, maybe not.
I'm just kidding. She's gonna get me. She's gonna get me.
I can't hear.
Uh-oh. Okay. I'm not sure what's happening. Let's see, Natasha. Natasha, maybe you want to go out and come back in and see if that adjusts you.
Want me? Stop.
Yep. Well, she said she can't hear me, and I'm trying to talk to her, right? Okay. Let's move forward. Let's see. Rashana. Did we hear from you yet? We haven't heard from you. Come on, Rashana.
Had to unmute. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm also from Maryland. My name is Rashana, and I'm in between. I'm in Laurel. I'm in between Baltimore and DC.
Okay.
by profession, I'm a graphic designer, but I just was able to add new author to my resume. This is my first book, The Adventures of Joni and Juliet. It's a children's book that originally started out as a passion project, um, for me to cope and grieve the loss of my mother and my aunt. My mother's name was Joan, and my aunt's name was Juliet.
Mm.
But as I was thinking and crafting, uh, I've always dabbled with the idea of writing, but during this brainstorming period in 2019, I suffered a hemorrhagic stroke. I had 5 seizures and a stroke in less than an hour. So that delayed my writing a little bit. But during the second chance, I saw how God wraps his arms around me and
Mhm.
and truly never left me. So I rebranded and rebuilt myself during the second chance, and it's just a life-changing moment, and I'm so thankful to be here.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, thank you. I was sharing earlier in the 12 noon session that it's important to be able to share a little bit about yourself, as an author, as an individual, whatever you're working on, because that can kind of give people a little bit insight into you. And, without us asking that, we never would have known, what you've had to deal with. Um, but beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you for that information. Come on, Patricia, author Patricia.
Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Patricia Wallace. I live in the Chicagoland area, and I'm a born and raised Chicago girl. And so I live with my husband and my youngest son, who just graduated from school. And I was inspired to write my book, Christopher's Timeouts, through my older son, who had all kinds of crazy antics when he was, in kindergarten and in school and everything. So, but I've always, even though I never saw myself crossing the finish line to be a writer growing up, as life began, to turn different ways, I realized that it's always been in me. I majored in English in college. Every job I've had has been either as an editor or a marketing writer or as a proofreader along those lines. But as I got older, my parents were always supportive, and they constantly were telling me, "You're a writer, you're a writer. One day you're going to write a book." And so they are, those things were always very top of mind for me, and I would write things down. And then, but it took a different turn when about in 2020, I lost my first job. And then 2 years later, I lost my second job. And so it took the words of my husband, who said, "Well, maybe God has you in timeout because it's time for you to finish writing Christopher's Timeouts." So that was a drop the mic moment for me. And I went from just dabbling, and I always had the title. I always had the title. So I went from dabbling in it to moving full force ahead. And my very first step, my tangible first step, was to attend the From Pen to Publish Writing Workshop by Natalie R. Murphy.
Come on.
And from there, it was, it got me from attending that workshop about a year ago to where I am now, to not only being a published author, but an award nominee for that very first book. So it's an exciting time, and I'm here for it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. That was simple yet profound what your husband told you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes.
I tell you, these husbands got a way of telling us stuff, don't they?
They do.
Ask me how I know. Okay. Let's see. Farron, did we hear from you?
No, not yet.
We're going to. Come on now.
Hello, everybody. I am Farron McLemore, and I am a first-time self-published author. If you ask me what I wanted to be when I grow up, author wasn't it. But after having my first child, my daughter, who was diagnosed with a rare condition, which is a title of my book, Shining Through My Journey with Incontinence of Pigmenty. I always felt like I had a story to tell.
Yeah.
So I tied in my passion, which is helping people and encouraging people, and I always wondered how I could do that.
Mm.
So having the passion to help others and inspire others, I'm like, okay, I have a daughter, and she's always been my inspiration from the beginning. So when I wrote this book was a way that I could encourage and inspire people. Um, I am the second oldest of three brothers, but having I have a master's in organizational leadership, so I take lead in a lot of things, and they kind of let me just do it. I think because I'm the only girl, but but yes. So shining through my journey with incontinence pigmenty was brought from my daughter who was born with this rare condition, and it's been amazing just to have a first time book. Um, Thinking that I would be a nominee was far from my mind. So this has been such an awarding journey, such a humbling journey, and I'm so proud and happy to be here.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you know, when you just rattled off the name of that just off your tongue. Yeah, I had her on my show. I said, honey, I'm just gonna use the acronym IP. Okay. I don't even want to I don't even want to mess up that name. But beautiful, beautiful, beautiful journey, beautiful testimony. Let's move on to the second man in the house, Jay Vincent. All right, come on, talk to me. That's my new friend, y'all.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jay Benson, born and raised in Montgomery, Alabama. Um, Currently reside in the Atlanta, Georgia area where I'm a high school teacher. Also a business owner, certified life coach, youth life coach, spiritual life coach. Also a faith leader, minister of the gospel, three-time author. Actually, in 2020, I wrote my first book, and then later on in 2020, I wrote my second book, and most recently, last year, I published my third book called "Moving Past Your Pain," which is right here.
Okay.
The reason I wrote this book was because, as being a former athletic coach and currently a high school teacher, especially being a faith leader, I see firsthand that a lot of people go through adversity, go through pain. But the year before I was born, my mother ended up losing her sister to gun violence, where a prisoner broke out of prison and ended up murdering her sister in the presence of her then 2.5-year-old son. And later on in life, I end up losing a lot of people that I was real close with, like my uncles, my grandparents, even my cousins. Lost my cousin in 2020, who I was real close with. Him and his family was the first people to actually reach out to me when I actually moved to Atlanta, Georgia in 2013. And since then, we actually developed a relationship before he ended up passing away in 2020. And I even talked about other real life stories, real life issues that people I have mentored who actually went through adversity as being a student athlete, how he was just, being a student athlete. He was a starting quarterback for his high school team. And it was just one play where it was raining that particular night. He ended up fumbling the ball, in which the other team ended up scoring a touchdown. And the other team ended up coming back to win the game. But really, the fumble wasn't the only thing that caused his team to lose the game. The team lost as a collective team overall. And the next day, that Friday when he went to school, he received death threats from people that he didn't even know at school. And it was just me, his parents who are faith leaders, and his siblings who had to encourage him and just basically walk him throughout that process that he was going through. And over time, he overcame adversity and bounced back from the things that he was going through. And now he's currently playing collegiate football. And I even talked about other things that people went through, how they had to bounce back from adversity and pain, and even depression. I talked about depression in my book, how a lot of people go through depression, but they may not know the steps of how to overcome depression. So these are different things that I talked about in my book, Moving Past Your Pain. And I know firsthand, my family went through a time of depression, especially my mother when she lost her sister uh,
Mm-hmm.
due to this gentleman breaking out of prison and killing her sister. So I actually tied those stories in, and basically came from a biblical standpoint that actually tied into these different topics that I talked about in this book, Moving Past Your Pain.
Wow, that was deep. That was
Yes,
very deep. Okay, so now this is the book that has been nominated, correct? The one Move Past Your Pain. Okay.
yes,
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Hmm. Yeah, Jay. See, I knew you were my friend. We got a lot of similarities. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you. That's interesting, and how you were able to pull in other people's pain, their stories as well, into your book. And seeing how it all can come together and relate. I see. Okay, that's good stuff. Let's see. I am missing Kathy, right? We need to hear from Kathy on tonight. Kathy, can you unmute and talk to us about just a little bit about who you are? If you want to mention your book right now, you can.
Okay, I'm Kathy Greggs. I'm a United States Army combat veteran. I'm also a sexual assault survivor from military sexual assault. I am a certified human traffic. I'm actually a certified human traffic advocate, as well as domestic violence, as well as rape crisis here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I wrote this book based on AI and how artificial intelligence can take away humanity's access to advocates as well as activists. I started my nonprofit for police accountability here in Fayetteville, North Carolina in 2015 with another veteran. And I'm also a teacher on Fort Liberty. So I'm under the DOD teaching.
Oh, wow. Y'all, did y'all see the way I straightened up when she said that she was in military? Had to straighten up a little bit. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It is so wonderful to meet you guys and to hear what I'm hearing from you on tonight. And let me ask you a question. A lot of you talked about your life experiences, right? And basically how you kind of got to where you are, even with penning your books. Um, would you say that your life was influenced by your experiences, or your experiences influenced by your life? That's the question. You can take time to think about that if you want.
I would say that my life is based on the experiences because when I was in the United States Army and I had went through my military sexual assault, they tried to cover the case up, and it took me 2 years before I finally got justice. And even with the justice, they only received 5 years, and I had to go in front of the military committee of the United States Army to fight for justice. And even after that, I stayed in the Army.
Wow. That's my sister, y'all. She did that thing. And I'm sure it wasn't easy when you were going
It
through it,
wasn't.
but yeah, I can only imagine. But God gave you strength. Author Patricia, can you answer that question for me?
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you repeat it again? I was still trying to mull it over and see which way I wanted to go.
Worries. Was your life influenced by your experiences, or vice versa? Your experiences influenced by your life?
For me, I think my life has been influenced by my experiences because, for instance, I talked earlier about how I knew at an early age I was a reader and a writer and everything. But, like, for instance, my mom was a librarian. So that was a big part of my life, just going to work with her. So that was an experience that resonated with me because I was always in an area where, the books were galore in the room, in the very room. And so me just having that access to that. So that was, shaping my interest, bringing it to the forefront and being able to just ride on that with the encouragement that I was given from my family and everything. So I would definitely say a lot of the experiences that I've had especially as it comes to, this writing journey has been influenced, my life has been influenced by the experiences.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. You ready, Rashana?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I would say that in a similar conjunction with everyone, my life was influenced by experiences. I watched my mom. My mother was my biggest hero. She was my best friend, and I watched her go through years and years of having rheumatoid arthritis, raising kids, being a wife, being a mother, and I kind of channeled her when writing the book. I remember her. I also remember the experiences of my aunt. My mother and my aunt were best friends. So the experiences that I gained from them kind of shaped who I am today. My life has been a roller coaster of events. I when I had my stroke, I was in a wheelchair for 3 months. I could not walk. I could not dress myself. My speech was not as clear as you hear me speaking today. I had to basically, I was an adult, but had to learn everything as if I were a little child again. And that includes my God-given gift of drawing, of writing, of creating. Like the therapist in the hospital purposely gave me therapy exercises that kind of honed in on my crafts. Rather than just focus on walking, talking, and dressing, they were like, no, we're going to get these crayons, we're going to get this computer, we're going to get you typing, we're going to get you drawing again. So my life was shaped around the experiences I've been through.
Wow. Kudos to that therapist.
Yes, absolutely. I had the best therapist.
Beautiful, beautiful. Because everybody doesn't understand, what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And I believe that probably helped to facilitate your healing. You
I,
know, if she just went through the normal, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, or whatever, and it didn't necessarily relate to what your passion was or where you were, then maybe it took a little bit more time. And that's just my thinking. But yeah, kudos and shout out to that therapist. So that was great, great stuff. Let's see. Farron, you look like you want to say something.
I would also say that my life has influenced my experiences because, for one, being a first time mother and without warning, your daughter is born with this condition.
Wow.
I definitely, being anchored in God is what helped me through it. And I just feel like if my life was not anchored around going to church, I think anybody being a first time mom experiencing that would probably lose their mind because there was so much that we experienced that I had to experience that I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what to do. But I do know how to pray. And that's one thing that I always will go back to. Um, and so if it had not been for being, raised in church and even just knowing God for myself as an adult, being able to lean on him is what got me through this experience. So definitely my life has definitely influenced my experiences.
Okay. All right. All right. Jay, talk to me.
I'll probably echo what everybody else has said. Like I would go back to when I was in high school. I didn't talk about this earlier when I gave my introduction, but I thought about it briefly in the book. When I was in high school, I was involved in extracurricular activities where I played football, was also part of FCA, Fellowship Christian Athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I was involved in ministry at that time. where I was a minister at a young age. So I was involved in a lot of things. But um, being a minister at a young age and being in high school, trying to be like my peers, trying to hang with the fellas,
Yeah.
everybody else. But I really didn't take my walk serious with God until actually He brought me out of a situation. Like today, I'm a three-time author. Back then, I wouldn't have thought that I would be in this position that I'm in right now. But I struggled with the high school graduation exam in my home state of Alabama. We had to pass 5 parts of the high school graduation exam, and the only part that I struggled with was the reading part.
Okay.
And everybody else prayed for me, but as being a minister, I really didn't take my walk serious until I actually had a serious come to Jesus meeting. That's the older people would say. Um,
Right.
so I actually got serious by praying to God, getting in partnership, being in partnership with Him. My senior year, up until I had one last time to take it, which is the spring year of my senior year, right before I graduated. And before I took the test, I prayed, and before I turned the test in, I prayed, and I got confirmation from God before I turned the test in, and He told me to turn it in. So I turned it in, and when we got our results, I already knew I passed, but everybody else didn't understand how I passed. Like my graduation counselor didn't understand how I passed it, but um, everybody else was praying for me. But during that time, I wasn't praying for myself like I should,
Mm.
until I actually began to pray myself. And that right there really woke me up. And then that's when I end up going to college. Started out at a small university until I actually went to the university of my choice that I wanted to attend, which was Auburn University in Alabama. And ever since, I didn't look back, and I'm here today. And I know it was by the grace of God that brought me out of that situation that I was going through. And that was a lesson learned right there, not to put God on the back burner, but to always keep Him first. And ever since, that's what I've been doing. And today, that's what I try to encourage other people to do.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am.
BG, I do not want to assume what I think that your response is, but I know that you have experienced quite a bit, sir. How can you answer that question for me?
I think probably the most accurate depiction would be my life has been molded by my experiences. Um, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to Miss Rashonda and the experience that she had, following in the aftermath of her stroke. I underwent, and not that it's an issue of comparison because everybody's struggle is different.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a very serious accident in 2001.
Yeah.
Um, I was actually self-employed. I had two businesses, and wow, um, I was riding my brother's bike, and one of the individuals who worked with me, she was on the back of the bike. 3 blocks from my house, a truck pulled out in front of me. I slammed into the side of the truck. She broke one of her collarbone, one of her arms, one of her legs, her collarbone, and her pelvis. Fortunately, she's doing better. She's married, and she's having children. My situation is a little bit different.
Mm.
I broke I broke both my ankles, both my shins, both my knees, both my femurs, my pelvis in 3 places, both my upper arms, both my elbows, both my forearms, and both my wrists. And had a had a concussion that left me in a coma for. I took a nap for like. Well, I was in a coma for like several months, and from what I've been told, they reportedly kept me comatose, medically comatose, because if I woke up, they said I would be in so much pain until I would go into shock and die. So I don't know. I wasn't there. I was asleep. Um, but it required 8+ years of rehabilitative therapy.
Hmm.
Um, and at the conclusion, they said they had done all they could do for me. So at that point, I undertook the issue of self therapy, and the doctor said that I would be literally I would be in a perpetual state of rehabilitation for the rest of my life. My balance is no good. Um, I have a speech impediment, obviously. Sometimes it's worse than others. I don't have full functionality of my arms, my hands. It's just a lot. And to be very honest with you, I was in therapy about the 4th or 5th year, and I've always written. My mother said she found a journal, um, but the long story short, I utilized writing as an escape. Um, it's how my psychiatrist said to me, "Well, you spend too much time inside your own head," and I said, "As opposed to not thinking." But so anyway, thinking is one of my hobbies. I actually, spend most of my time inside my head, and it's was in the process of in the process of the therapy that I started writing, and it was just an idea because I had so much going on inside my head. I needed to get outside myself, and so I sat down one day and I just had no idea what it was, where it was going, but I just started writing. And fast forward a year and a half, and I ended up with something I didn't know what it was. So I just found it away on the computer, and then I got subsequently got married. We went to Massachusetts on a moment's notice, and we were there. We were expected to be here for 2 weeks. We ended up there for 2 months. And so her name is Sandra. She got bored and she came to me and she says, "I'm bored. I need something to do." And so, in long story short, I gave her copied the what turned out to be the manuscript to a flash drive, and I gave it to her. And she came back a few days later and she goes, "You have to do something with this." And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You can write." I'm like, "Okay," but I didn't know what it was. I mean, I had no intention to write a book. So we came back to Florida in 2016, and I told her, I said, "Well, I don't want, if it is publish worthy, I don't want my first work to speak of my life before." Now it's not an autobiography,
Right.
but it's I lost my memory, but there are people who have read the book who knew me before. I used to live in New York. The main character is okay. Back up. I'm from Georgia. The main character is from Georgia. I lived in New York and pursuing a modeling career. My name is BG. His name is Willie. He's an aspiring actor slash model. So there are a lot of similarities. That's what I'm trying to say. So a lot of people ask me, "Is this about your life?" I'm like, "No, I don't remember my life."
Oh, wow.
But it was more therapeutic than anything else. And I didn't know what I was doing. So when I first went to a publishing house, the would-be editor, her first comment was, "Wow, that's a
Mm.
long book." And I go, "I don't know how long the book is supposed to be." And she said, "Well, the typical fiction novel contains 80 to 100,000 words." That's okay. She said, "Yours clocked out at 174,000 words." So I had to break it into 2 books. Ergo, Ergo the title,
Okay.
Family, revised edition, Family Ties, Thicker Than Blood, and then the follow up, Family Ties 2, Blood Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the book's manifested.
Okay. Okay. I get it now. I don't know if I knew that you had too many words and they had to be split up, but now I can understand why that publisher said that. Yeah, I get it. I get it. But author Frederica from earlier today, she made a comment and said, "You are here uh, to write your story. God wasn't done. You have a purpose, BG." And I totally agree with that. And I think that's probably some of the same words that I said to you when I first met you the other year. There's a reason that you were still here. You mentioned about the other individual who was injured, and the guy had a purpose for you. Comment from Shayna: I love how so many of the nominees have testimonies that defied the odds, supposedly stacked against them, but God.
Right.
Yes, Shayna. I think Shayna is my I call her my motivational speaker. You're speaking that. That is so true. So true. Listen. If you guys are just not joining us, yes, we are doing an evening session with the Distinguished Author Guild nominees for 2024. I had about 5 of them on earlier, 7 this evening, and we're going to have some more to come on with us in October. But we're just kind of getting a little background, understanding who they are, where they're from, what they're doing, and how they came to write. So if you have any comments or questions for them, go ahead and throw it into the comment section. We'll try to read it and try to make sure that they see it as well. I do want to ask, of course, we want to bring and talk about this award or the nomination that you all have received. And I asked a group earlier, how did they feel about this nomination? What did it mean to you? And I'm quite sure some of you maybe have presented your books to other guilds or organizations, but what did receiving this nomination do for you? How did it make you feel? And what are your thoughts regarding or surrounding it? Um, I know how I felt last year. And you kind of get a little nervous, then you kind of get excited, nervous. I had all kind of emotions going on, but I want to hear from you guys and what this meant to you. And I'm going to start with author Wallace, Patricia Wallace. I don't know why I'm picking on you tonight, but can you unmute?
Yes. So, first of all, it is surreal. That is the only way I can describe it, because a year ago, I never would have thought that I could actually pull off the publishing part. And then to be nominated. And again, it was the urging of Miss Natalie R. Murphy, who said, you need to submit your book. And I'm thinking, okay, what is she talking about? I just got in this arena. I'm trying to, keep my head above water. And she's like, submit it for an award. Okay. And then she, so I just put it on the back burner, and then she nudged me again. And then I thought, by that time I was, feeling more confident, and, by just the reaction I was getting from my family after I published it. So then I thought, well, I have nothing to lose. Why not? And so then for it to, come to fruition where the, nomination came through, I thought, okay. But for me, it just really solidified what I knew in my subconscious all along, that I was put here to write and to tell stories, because there's more to hear from Christopher. So it solidified it for me, and it helped me to walk in a different way, to know that I am walking in my God-given purpose. And as long as he instilled it in me, I know that I have an audience that is here to be compelled to read about what he has to say through me in the form of Christopher and whatever else I end up writing. So I just feel like I'm walking in my purpose, and I'm doing it strongly, and I'm doing it thankfully with the grace of God to carry this through. So I just, it's a surreal time, and I'm thankful for every moment of it.
Beautiful. That was a great way to describe it. Surreal. Thank you. Come on, Jay, unmute yourself and tell me what this nomination means to you.
Well, I would echo piggyback off with author Wallace. Surreal, also a blessing as well, to be nominated. When I wrote this book, I knew that I was writing a game-changing book. Um, not boasting or bragging, but things that like I said, I have encountered, people have encountered who I've actually talked about in the book. I know that it'll be a blessing to somebody else to actually help them overcome adversity that they're going through to help them move past their pain. So once I got the email saying that I was nominated for this book, I thought it was a tremendous blessing and it was surreal. And we are actually coming up on the November uh, real soon. So look forward to that particular night, particular weekend to connect with everybody who's nominated for their different perspective books. Um, so yeah, I say this is a surreal moment.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for that.
Yes,
Okay, Natasha, can you unmute and tell us what the nomination meant to you?
Yes, it was a blessing. It felt so good to get that email and to see my name like you were nominated for your book. Oh, it just felt really, really good, and it meant so good to me. And Dr. Shayna, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing her last name wrong, Gordina. She was
Yes,
the one who
Gordon.
told me about the awards because I didn't know anything about it, and she was such a blessing to me too. But it's just so real. It feels really, really good.
Beautiful, beautiful. I see a lot of connections in here with previous winners and nominees, which is a good thing because I think that we need to have those connections. We need to kind of reach out outside our own comfort zone, if you will, our own circle, and reach out to others that we see that are doing a great work and that it can help somebody else. So I'm loving this because I heard somebody, I think it was author Patricia mentioned Natalie a few times. And, you just mentioned about Dr. Gordine. That's another one of my good friends I met last year as well. So this is wonderful stuff. Come on, Rashana, and then Farron.
Well, it's funny. I never saw myself as an author. A lot of times, just in conversation in life, people say, "Oh, you got to write the book on that. You got to write the book on that." Well, how do you write the book? That was my dilemma. But once I got in touch with the right connections and the right people, just the fact that I wrote a book, I actually have a product here is so amazing, and I'm super excited. To think that something that started out as a therapeutic passion project for myself is now a nominated book for the Distinguished Guild Award. It's a blessing. It's truly a blessing. I was after the book was written and published, I was searching for a platform where I could connect with other Black authors, new authors, because I'm a newbie. I'm a rookie. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm technically winging things.
Yes.
Here, just by literally, I tell you, by osmosis, I came across the Distinguished Authors Guild uh, Facebook page, and there was Miss Gina Gadsden, just amazing, an amazing woman. And later, I met Dr. Carolyn Stevens, who is just as amazing. And these two women welcomed me, the little newbie, the little chick, with open arms into this loving community that we encourage each other, we upbuild each other, and we truly support the hard work that each of us have put into these books. So I am super excited to be a nominee, and I wish everyone well on November 10th.
Beautiful, beautiful. I just love all y'all already. I've just met a lot of you. Come on, Farron, Arthur Farron.
So I have to piggyback off of Shauna because for me, as I mentioned before, this has been such a humbling and rewarding experience. Like when I also received the nomination, it was like me. like Rashada, I'm very new to the process. I know absolutely nothing. I just knew that I had a story that I wanted to tell. I actually did a lot of research on my own, like how do you self-publish a book? And then now I'm here. For me, my prayer was that this was a God did it year. I prayed for divine connections, and look where God brought me. Amongst such an amazing group of people. I have to give a shout out to Brandy McCord because she is the one who actually, told me to get in touch with Gina. So, went through the process, and, you know, if I asked God if it was for me, let it be for me and let it be an impact. And I can't tell you just the amazing connections that we've all built. Just like Rashonda said, we're supportive of each other. The love is so genuine. I can't wait till November 10th either, just to see you guys in person for those who are going to be there. Just because it is such an incredible experience, and I'm so happy to be a part of it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, huge shout out to Brandy. She's like, she works behind the scenes. People don't really know, but she makes a lot of connections. And I appreciate her for that. She actually is the one that connected me with Gina. And I initially had Gina on my show because she, was the author of Alpha's Adventures and had all of this. It wasn't even regarding the guild yet, but she made that initial connection. And so by the time I wrote my book, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll submit my book, but yeah. So, yeah, shout out to those who are selfless and will reach out and try to make those connections with individuals because I think it's important. Rashana said she was looking for a community, Black authors and everything. And honey, I was like you. I was like, this is my first book. I have no clue what I'm doing. But when you are obedient to what God is telling you to do, even when you step out, sometimes it may seem a little bit iffy or whatever, but that's just you, honey. But God already told you to do it. So go ahead. He's going to carry you and take you through, and he's going to enable you to make those connections as well. Um, Before I let BG answer that question, because we're going to be wrapping up, I want to ask Natalie. It looks like you're still on. Can you do me a humongous favor? The link for the awards dinner, are you able to place that in the comments section so that those who are watching, those who haven't purchased their tickets yet, can get their tickets and support these nominees for November 10th, if you're able to, or if someone else is out there and has the link readily available, if you could do that for me, that would be great. It looked like Jay trying to do it. Y'all look like Jay trying to do it. Jay, you trying to put it in there? Never mind, Jay, never mind. It looked like he was doing it. All right, let's see these comments. And BG, I want to let you answer. Let's see. Somebody said Gina Gasson. They said Gina Gasson is a blessing, honey. Yes, she is. I'm surprised you didn't put Hunty. But yes, she is indeed a blessing. And Natalie says this is such a great group of authors. And let's see. Oh, you're so sweet, Natalie. She said, shout out to you. God bless you, sweetie. God bless you. BG, come on. What did this nomination mean to you? I think you kind of answered a little bit. Maybe just, kind of give us a little synopsis of what it meant to you, this particular nomination.
Well, honestly, I think it served more as a validation of my work efforts. I mean, the effort being recognized by the industry, and I too have a Gina Gatson story because initially last year, I stumbled across. I don't even know how I got there. I stumbled across Dope Living Live podcast with Greg Gray, and I didn't even know what it was. I just stumbled across it, and I can't even remember the conversation, but it was an interesting discussion, and I commented several times, and he took the liberty while they were on the air. He took the liberty of going to pull research who I was, And he comes back and goes, "Hey, this dude's an author." He said, "We got to get him on. We got to get him on the show." And so by him, now going through that process, that increased my visibility and exposure as a novelist. And then at that point, Miss Gasson, I didn't know anything about the Distinguished Authors Guild, and she encouraged me to submit my book. And I'm like me and the others, I'm a first time author. I'm stupid to the industry, didn't know anything about it, but she encouraged me to submit the book. And surprisingly, the end result was I was awarded, and my book was nominated, and it was awarded the Best Fiction 2023. And so, just the opportunity to network with other people and connect with other authors, and now people actually recognize me as wait. This is a good part. This is a good part. I'm not just a published author. I'm an award-winning author. I've been practicing that.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
But the current novel, Family Ties 2: Blood Covenant, it's a continuation of the story of the main character, Willie, as he navigates life in New York City. And it's a coming of age story about a person who has these experiences, and most people, maybe on a larger or smaller degree, to a larger or smaller degree, have these same experiences in life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a coming of age story. It's a coming of age story, and I wanted to inspire others that they can overcome these challenges. Life is going to throw everything it can at you, but you can overcome these challenges. And on a personal note, I had to learn how to read, write, talk, dress, everything. All I was like I started over as a newborn,
right?
And being able to overcome these challenges, it just I can do it.
Yeah,
that's what it said to me. I can do it.
We're so proud of you, BJ. We're very proud of you. We really are.
That's borderline conceit, so I'll let somebody else toot my own horn. Or
no worries. Kathy, author Kathy.
Yes, ma'am. So
did I get your response yet? I didn't, right?
No, you didn't. So I wrote my book within 3 months, and I self-published it and everything, edited. So I did take a lot of time and research on how I wanted to write it as well. Now, what I did find out about Distinguished Author Guide, I was actually on Facebook myself, surfing through about authors. But the reason why I really feel that this book is touched is because I do have some self-guided education in there for people to understand what it looks like to fight for humanity to continue to exist after AI uprising, because we all know that 730,000 jobs is going to be lost by 2025, and that's going to impact us as a whole and humanity. So I wanted people to understand that this is evolving, whether you want it to or not, but at the same time, acknowledge that it's evolving as well, because this impacts your daily routine and your daily life. So it's more of an educational. I'm not here for no real, awards or anything like that, because everything I do is for public services and educational for not only disenfranchised community, but also my Black and Brown community. So
okay, love it. I love it. You guys are giving of yourselves. And I mentioned the word earlier, being selfless. So thank you all for that. This is some great stuff. Listen, I want to see if I can try and show. Earlier today, I had the individuals to kind of show their books with them. But let me see if I can just pull up this little presentation just to kind of go through, because I want you guys that are watching to be able to see these individuals. Let's start back at the beginning. We have author Natasha Cook. Friends by Enemies. Is that the correct? That's the correct name?
It's Friends Before Enemies.
Friends Before Enemies.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then we have author Rashana Gould, The Adventures of Joni and Juliet. Is that right? You can
Yes.
unmute
Yes.
yourself. Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. And then author Kathy Greggs, The Mother, the Soldier, the Activist.
Yes, ma'am. A mother first, and I was a soldier and I'm an activist.
Come on now. I love it. I love it. All right. And the author Farron McLemore, Blood Covenant is what they have. But we know that it's Shining Through My Journey with IP. And if you guys didn't hear that, I did the acronym. There's a reason because I don't want to mess up the name of that condition. But they have it under Blood Covenant. And then we have author J. Vincent Jr., Moving Past Your Pain. Beautiful. And next, or last but not least on this screen, author Patricia Wallace, Christopher's Timeouts. Christopher's Timeouts. And I love how you were able to, and many of you have done this. You brought in your families. You've brought in your, again, your experiences with your books, with your journey. Arthur Greggs, activists, you bringing all of that in. And I think that's so important, to do that. You're making people become aware, and then you're, helping them through similar situations. As we end on this evening, are there any encouraging words that you want to give to those who are watching and listening or will watch later? And why don't we start with Arthur Greggs? Maybe just some encouraging words to those who are listening on tonight.
Well, my encouraging words would be always tell your story, because your story changes lives, and it also will change your life in a healing process and a forgiveness process. So telling your story gets you through your life.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Love it. Farron.
I'm going to go with my favorite quote, walk with God and know that it will end in victory.
All right.
So no matter what you do, walk with God and you shall have the victory.
Love it. Love it. That's simple yet profound. Author Natasha Cook.
Yes, I would say keep striving, keep writing, don't give up. Always put God first and watch how He will answer your prayers.
Beautiful. Come on, BG. What are your encouraging words to us?
Wow. We look back to understand where we've been. We look around to assess where we are. But we live life in forward motion.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Author BG. Appreciate that. All right, Rashana.
I would like to say, take care of yourself. You can get fired from a job, but you can't get fired from your gift. So take care of yourself so that you can share that gift with other people.
Y'all, these my brothers and sisters talking like this tonight. Y'all hear this? I love it. Come on, author Patricia.
So I would say if you're compelled to write it, then you go ahead and do that, because someone will be compelled to read your story. You have a specific, it's in you for a reason. You have a specific audience that is out there waiting for you. They want to hear what you have to say. So walk in it.
Now, if y'all not picking up what they putting down tonight, I don't know what's wrong with you all, because these are some they're encouraging me. All right. I love this. I love this. Are we ending with Jay?
The preacher going in.
Come on. Yeah, that's right. I know that. I know what I'm doing here. Come on, preacher.
Okay. I would say write the vision, make it plain. whatever that you're going through in life, just know that pain births purpose. If you know that whatever that you face with, whatever that you are dealing with right now, uh, is only temporarily. So if you just keep God first every step of the way, you can bounce back throughout the things that you're currently going through. But if God gives you a vision, in spite of what people may tell you that you would never amount to anything, just learn how to block out the noise and just write the vision and make it plain, and begin to actually do what God has called you to do.
All right. Let the church say amen. All right.
Mhm.
We're gonna pass around the bucket. No, I'm just kidding. No, that was wonderful. I love it. Absolutely love it. I want to say congratulations to each and every one of you on your nomination. Some have said earlier in the afternoon session, even on this evening, this is your time. This is your time, and God has blessed you to come this far. So I love Arthur Ferentz, and make sure you walk with God. That's what I grabbed from what she said. Okay, make sure you walk with Him, because He's going to guide us every step of the way. I did a Sash Talk discussion the other week, or probably about a month ago. I said, we always hear that song, "Walk with Me, Lord." I said, I think I want to walk with Him, because he knows where the pitfalls are. He knows every step that I should take. I have no clue. So you walk with me? No, I think I want to walk with Him. So I'm going to take His hand and allow Him to guide me. And I believe that we will definitely be the better for it, and He can get the glory. All right. I didn't want to come behind the preacher and preach. So that's not what I'm doing. But I just want to encourage each of you. And November 10th, guys, the link is in the comments section. If you have not purchased your ticket for the Distinguished Author Guild Award, and I believe this is the 5th annual literary award show, you will not be disappointed. Go and support these wonderful authors. I almost wished I had written another book to submit this year, but I didn't. But this is great, and it's a great experience. And I just pray that God will just bless each and every one of you in all of your endeavors, all that you're doing. And we are going to get out of here, but thank you again for your time on tonight and coming in and joining us, coming in to get caught in the net on tonight. I appreciate you. And those that are watching, listening, thank you. Thank you for sharing, loving, liking, throwing up the care button. And thank you for not throwing up the angry emoji. I appreciate you on tonight. All right. You will be able to look at this again on Facebook page. My Facebook page is public, also on Instagram and YouTube. And again, we're going to make sure that it's uploaded to Intellectual Radio's YouTube channel. So as we exit on tonight, I'm just going to play the outro. But next week, of course, you guys that are watching that normally keep up with me, the 4th Wednesday of the month, we normally have our monthly health and wellness segment with Dr. Shirley Hill of Mo Faith Nutritional Services. We'll get you the title, the topic that we're going to talk about. She's off doing a fasting with her church on this week, but we will have that information for you. So we'll see you guys. Thank you all again. You guys have a good evening.
Much
Be
for
blessed
having us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
and have a wonderful
Thank
gala.
you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Blessings
You
to
will.
each of you. All right.
Get caught in a net with